Alrighty guys, I think this is coming through loud and clear. I just want to jump on and give you a quick update on what's happening. This is a lot has happened in the past 24 hours and I don't normally do a video on a Monday, but please let me know if this is coming through loud and clear. And we'll get into what's changed and what we're looking at now. I didn't do that much of a deep dive into the technical analysis last night, to be honest. So g'day Josh, Jamie, g'day Matt. 70 watching already. Geez, we must be in a bull market. And I'm going to try and keep this pretty short and sharp because I want to watch the last day of the cricket. Everyone's rolling in. G'day Graham, Danny, and Kev. Okay. So last night, the pattern that I've been watching was this falling wedge. And we've been talking about, the declining volume, and then we want to see volume increase if we break out of it. And I was speaking about that, this wasn't that overwhelming in terms of what we've seen in previous, particularly when we take off parabolic. But, we've got a long way to go. We're only 9 hours, 10 hours into this day, and it looks like it's going to be a big volume day, and it's all looking pretty green so far. We had a beautiful close on the previous week there as well. Nice big green week and taking out the weekly highs. So everything is, in a strong uptrend now, I guess we could say. So the other pattern that I just had drawn on there before was this channel. And depending on, exactly how you want to draw this, we sort of really touched this just before and we saw a bit of a rejection. But I guess it's the times like these, and when I did the videos in the past, jump on live, when we start to go parabolic, a lot of that technical analysis tends to go out the window to some degree. So this Adam and Eve pattern here that I've been talking about, since we were right down here, I posted for our members that this Adam and Eve pattern was again in play, and everyone was talking about 7 or 8K, and when everyone's fearful and expecting lower prices, sometimes that's when it's good to get in. So this has completed, and we then extend that out to get our target, and that takes us into the mid to upper 12. So that takes us to this high here, and then we've only really got 14,000 left after that. So if this all continues to break through this level, and where we're at right now is that key level for me, because the US is just going to wake up in the next few hours, and when a big news event happens, and that's what I'm going to talk about in just a sec, that tends to get digested, particularly on a Sunday night. It gets digested on the Monday morning. So what I want to talk about just quickly is the US dollar to the Chinese yuan. And what's happened today is they've broken the peg. So the government keep this pegged at around 7. And to do that, they've got to sell their US Treasury bonds, their reserves, and they've really whittled down their reserves. So I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I believe they've sold something like 80% of their reserves now, and they can't just keep defending this peg. They call it a floating peg. And so they've had to let that go. So the US dollar has just jumped, but if we obviously invert this chart, it's the same as the Chinese yuan dropping off a cliff. So the last time this happened, you can see that it lost a lot of its value against the US dollar here, but we were kind of in that crypto winter. The last time this really happened to a meaningful extent was back in 2015 and 2016, and particularly here when it started to go pretty parabolic. And it was becoming clear every time they tried to, redo this peg that it was just being lost. That is what one of the huge drivers of pushing people into Bitcoin. We saw billions of dollars a day trying to flee China. So this is an article, if you want to search China Bitcoin 2016, if you weren't around back then, and read about how this was all playing out. Bitcoin was only a few $100s, and then all of a sudden it was jumping up towards 1,000. This was very, very exciting at the time. And the Chinese exchanges that were still in full operation were just doing crazy volumes. There was a huge premium in China, so they were paying $1,200 for a Bitcoin when it was only trading at $900. This was crazy to watch unfold at the time. Now, if we have a look at the real 24-hour volume, it's only around $1 billion a day, and a lot of that is traded, or a lot of this reported volume, up at 21 billion here, is from BitMEX and the contracts that are traded. It's not real Bitcoin trading hands. So the point I want to drive home is, if we actually have billions of dollars a day trying to flee China, it is going to be meaningful. Maybe that is why we've seen a 10% jump today. It's actually real money starting to chase Bitcoin in a meaningful way, on top of all the speculation and the other things that we do see. So look, I know that was sort of the first time we'd had a bit of a sell-off. Even just on the 5-minute chart, you can see we didn't really get any scares on this way up. Every dip was being really aggressively bought. And this just reminds me of those times when we go parabolic. So don't try and short if you are new to this. Even if you're an experienced trader, these aren't really the times to be shorting, because a lot of the time fundamentals go out the window. So we look to be creeping higher again now. Watching those order books on Binance, and even today we had 1,000 sell wall on Bitcoin here, and just watch these orders get chewed up. So many people coming in, and if it is a similar circumstance to where everyone was expecting a pullback from 6,000 and they didn't get that, we know what happens. People have to chase the market. Now, hopefully, if you've followed the channel, and for our members in particular, we were talking about these 30 to 40% pullbacks, and we got a 35% pullback. So, it's only the people that got greedy or wanted to pick the bottom and try and pin these lower levels. Bitcoin doesn't give you that gentleman's entry, as we talk about. So hopefully, no FOMO here. We're at a pretty key level now, but when Bitcoin goes parabolic, to me it just shows you that there's so much money chasing so few coins on exchanges. This is why price just does this, and all of a sudden we get to these points where Bitcoin's tripled in a month, and obviously there's big money out there these days. If you've tripled your $100 million investment, you're going to sell. So that's why we get this volatility. It's a mixture of such a small asset, traders making huge profits and taking profit. That's why we see just so much volatility out there now. But for me, I actually want to get off and go watch the cricket, but I just wouldn't be surprised if this cuts through here. And this was, when people saying, 11,000 is going to act as resistance. I thought it was going to act as more resistance as it did. On these time frames, we only got the minimum sort of pullbacks. This was basically the only pullback we got from this Adam and Eve pattern completing. I thought maybe we were going to chop around sideways or gather a bit of momentum, but when we get some big news like the China ban, the China breaking their peg to the US dollar, that is really meaningful, and it just shows you that at a time when gold is breaking out again today, so that's a new a new high for this year, and revisiting since back in 2013 we haven't been this high. So gold, silver not so much, and this is a little bit similar to the story between altcoins and Bitcoin. The big money, and when I say big money, we're talking the institutions, hedge funds. This has been my thesis around gold, that they're going to park money in gold. They can't park money in Bitcoin just yet, but Bitcoin has a lot of other reasons why it is going to go up itself. So at the moment, the story continues to be about Bitcoin. I do believe we're going to have another alt season at some stage in the future based around fundamentals, not so much based around everything going up. I'm going to do a video this week about the best portfolio structure that I believe you should have. And traders, I guess, just enjoy these times. If you know how to trade and get margin long and ride this wave up, lucky in profits, have that trailing stop. These are very fun times to be trading in the crypto markets. But this is that level now, and then we work our way down the time frames. And we have to be mindful that, we are at 80 RSI on the hourly. That consistently, can get up towards 90 if we're in one of those parabolas. Same on the 4 hour, only 80 at the moment. You could expect that to get to 90, take us well above, and then we can just cool off for 1 or 2 candles and continue to push higher because there's plenty of room to run on this daily. We're not even in overbought yet. And I know crypto winter was long and painful, but this to me, and let's put it on log chart. This to me just shows you this is the natural growth rate of Bitcoin. We are growing to $1 trillion or more asset class. So yes, I know it looks steep, but we're growing. We're heading towards that massive market cap. So this doesn't really surprise me. And I tweeted today, this is the first time you've seen Bitcoin go up $1,000 in a day. We did have a $4,000 24-hour period back in 2017. So I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Smash that like button. Head over to Nuggets News if you do want to join our members group. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Good luck in the cricket to the Aussies.